let's get on with our candidate speeches. So we are starting with the United States House and Senate candidates who will have 4 minutes each. So I'd like to call to the podium right now from U.S. House District 2, Tulsi Gabbard.
Thank you, Andy. It's very threatening. He acts like politicians go over the time limit all the time. I see you. Thank you very much, all of you, for taking the time to come here this evening. This is such a wonderful and very special tradition, and I feel privileged to be able to be a part of this. I want to say thank you to our party chair, Keali'i. Thank you very much for your words and your leadership. Thank you to County Chair Margaret Willey. I know there's a lot of hard work and many hands that comes into pulling this kind of event together. Thanks to all of our elected officials and candidates and all of the volunteers and supporters who have gathered here this evening. I feel honored and privileged to have had the opportunity to serve all of you in Washington for the last 5.5 years. It's been a challenging time for Hawaii Island, going back to the early days when we were dealing with dengue fever, dealing with the volcano eruption in 2014, Hurricane Iselle, the current eruption, a lot of the challenges that our agriculture farmers have had and are continuing to have. The challenges have been great, but what has been most inspiring was that through all of these, your strength and your resilience and your unity through everything has been what has brought all of us through. We're seeing challenges now on the national level and here in our state, and it is that kind of strength and resilience and unity that will get us through. We've heard a few of our speakers tonight talking about aloha and about coming together, and that we are stronger when we stand together as Democrats, as a community, as people and residents of this wonderful state, seeing how we can bring our diverse ideas and opinions focused on that mission that we all have, that mission of serving and fighting for the well-being of our people and our planet, and fighting for peace. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have served you thus far and hope to be able to continue to do so. Mahalo for all your support. Aloha. Thank you, everybody.
Now we'd like to move to the U.S. Senate. At this time, we'd like to call to the podium Maisie Hirono.
Thank you, Andy. Aloha, everybody. I have been coming to these rallies since some of you were not even born, I think, so it's great that the Democratic Party has a tradition where we not only come together like this, but coming together is our values. I've been doing this since 1994. Wow. And I'm going to keep on doing it, because that's what we do. So how many of you think we're living in normal times? It is not normal when we have a president who lies every single day, who separates little children from their parents, who thinks it's okay to restrict people from certain countries from coming to our country so they can have asylum and a better life, who wants to get rid of health care that is so important to so many of us, especially our kupuna. And speaking of healthcare, I want to add my aloha to all the people on this island. It's not just the people in Puna, but everybody who's come together because of the volcano. And yes, $500 million, did you say, Russell? Okay, I'm looking at Brian over there, because I think some of that we're going to need to do, right, Brian? We'll be there to help you folks. But these are not normal times. And at times like this, we have to come together. And this is why, as I was being interviewed by Stacey Higa for Olelo, he asked me to think back to all the times that I've been here for this rally and really to think back and remember when Danny Inouye, Senator Inouye would be here, when Senator Akaka would be here, when Congresswoman Patsy Mink, my friend, would be here. They represented among the very best of the Democratic Party. And we used to say we stand on their shoulders, but somebody said, stop standing on our shoulders, we're tired. Stand by the side. This is what we do. We stand next to each other over generations to make sure that the Democratic Party values of caring for our kupuna, caring for our environment, caring for our keiki continues, and we are going to do that. And even as we speak, you know, one of the first things when I get back to, I'm trying to see the timekeeper here. Oh, you're okay? I'm so terrific, you forget to keep track of my time, right? Okay, just kidding. One of the things that I'm going to go back for is, of course, the Supreme Court nomination hearing of Brett Kavanaugh. And I have serious concerns. You share that concern. And as I have said, he does not get our benefit of the doubt because he has been vetted by the Federalist Society and the Heritage Foundation, two very, very conservative organizations, and what they want to do is cut back on a woman's right to choose, probably cut back on a lot of the environmental laws. Brett Kavanaugh has a record of looking at laws like our Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, and interpreting them very, very narrowly. So I have binders of stuff on Brett Kavanaugh because he is going to have a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court. He will be making decisions relating to health care, on the environment, on a woman's right to choose. He will be sitting there probably adding the fifth vote in many 5-4 decisions that will impact our lives negatively. So I want to thank you folks for all that you've done to support all of us and all of the Democratic candidates, because one thing that you can know for sure, once we finish our elections, once tomorrow happens and we all come together, we're going to continue to need your energy and your kukua and your support. Mahalo nui loa. Aloha.
Aloha! Thank you so much for having me. In case I'm causing any confusion, I'm not actually up for election for another 4 years. And so I'm especially glad to be here for that reason. They gave me 5 minutes. I'm going to try to take 4. I want to talk about 4 reasons that I see the Democratic Party of Hawaii as being stronger than ever. And the first reason, and it's been talked about, but it's worth repeating, it's the people who do the work. I mean, I talked to my Republican colleagues in the United States Senate, and they don't have volunteers in their campaigns. They have paid operatives in their campaigns. They couldn't put together an event like this if they tried. And so it's the people on the outside. It's the people without a lay on. It's the people who cook the food. It's the people who organize the chairs. It's the people who do the PA system. It's the people who promoted this grand rally that make the Democratic Party strong. So can we thank our volunteers? And why do they do it? You know, the candidates like to think that the reason that every volunteer is so passionate is because of their great candidacy. But the truth is, it's our shared values. It's a commitment to justice, an equal justice under the law. It's a commitment to taking care of our natural environment. It's a commitment to economic fairness and opportunity for everybody. It's a commitment to the rule of law. And what strikes me about the last couple of years, during the Trump era, is that when we talk about the rule of law, or when we talk about civil justice, or we talk about institutions being frayed, it's no longer a theoretical conversation. We know exactly what we're fighting for and what we are fighting about. And that is one of the reasons that the Democratic Party across the country, the progressive movement across the country, is stronger than ever, is because we know exactly what we are fighting for, and we know exactly who we are fighting against. So, and it is, now the third reason the Democratic Party is strong is the candidates. And it's the winners, yes, it is the winners, it's also the losers. And we've talked about this a little bit tonight, but it's so important on Sunday morning and then Sunday afternoon. And we're going to go to every island and have a breakfast or a lunch or a dinner to basically, primaries are like divorces, right? I mean, it's the most awful thing. It's really a fight within the family. And so it gets deeply emotional. There are scarred feelings. You wonder whether you did it right. both at the operational level, but also you wonder whether you conduct yourself right. And so one of the things that's so important is that we raise up the people who are not successful in this coming campaign, is that we help those who didn't make it, that we appreciate their leadership and their service as much as the people who got the most votes. And the fourth reason the Democratic Party is strong is our collective commitment to unity. Now, I just want to say one final thank you to all of you. It is a little bit challenging to serve in the United States Senate during the Trump era. There's no doubt about it. But every time I come home, and every time I see all of you, and I see so many familiar faces, and at this point, so many true friends, every time I see you, every time I talk to you, I am reminded of why I do this. I am reminded of why we all do what we do. I am reminded of our collective humanity. And I go back and I get on that red-eye plane, and I am fired up to fight for our collective values. And so I want to thank you for what you do. But what's so great about the Democratic Party is that it's not just that you energize me, but that we energize each other. That every time we talk, and I just had a conversation with someone who said, you know, I'm scared. I'm scared for the country. And every time we see each other, I want you to think about giving that other Democrat, that other progressive, that other citizen who's scared, some hope, some belief that we can do better, that it may get worse before it gets better, but it is going to get better because we're going to win in the end. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to say hello, to say thank you, and thank you for everything you do. This is the center of the political universe, always in this bandstand in Hilo town the night before the election. Aloha, everybody.